Have you ever listened to a native English speaker and felt completely lost because they were speaking too fast? Maybe you understood one or two words, but the rest sounded like a river of sounds flowing too quickly for you to catch. Don't worry, my friend, you are not alone. This is one of the most common struggles for English learners around the world. Welcome to the Daily English Podcast. My name is David, and here we practice slow English listening so you can build your skills step by step. In today's episode, we are going to talk about one of the biggest challenges, understanding fast English. I will explain why it feels so fast, how native speakers actually connect their words, and most importantly, how you can train your ears to catch every sound. Before we continue, make sure to subscribe to this channel because every single day I publish a new slow English podcast to help you with listening, shadowing, and speaking practice. And if you want the free PDF of this lesson, just comment below, "I want the PDF." You will receive the text of this podcast to read and practice at your own rhythm. In this introduction, I want you to understand something very important. Fast English is not really about speed. It is about connection. Native speakers don't pronounce every word clearly and separately like in a textbook. They link sounds, reduce words, and sometimes even drop sounds completely. That is why, even if you know all the words, you still can't recognize them when someone speaks quickly. But don't worry, in this episode, I will show you how to break the code. When you listen to native English speakers, you may feel that the words are too fast, almost like a song without pauses. This happens because in natural speech, people do not pronounce every word slowly and clearly as in textbooks. Instead, they connect words together, reduce sounds, and use rhythm. This makes the language flow quickly, and for learners, it may feel difficult to catch. But don't worry. The good news is that your brain can train itself to understand fast English step by step. First, you need to know about connected speech. In real life, when people say, "I want to go," they don't say each word slowly. They say, "I want to go." The sounds change, and some letters disappear. If you are only trained with slow, perfect English from your teacher or your book, it will be hard to understand. That is why listening practice with natural conversations, TV shows, or podcasts like this one is important. The more you hear connected speech, the more your brain will recognize it. Second, let's talk about stress and rhythm. English is a stress-timed language. This means some words are strong and others are weak. For example, I want to go to the store. The words want, go, and store are strong. The words I, to, and the are weak. Native speakers focus more on the strong words, so you must train your ears to focus on keywords instead of trying to hear every single sound. Third, you need to develop active listening skills. Do not just let English pass by like background noise. When you listen to a video or podcast, pause it. Repeat what you hear. Try to write down the words. This is called dictation practice. It helps you notice small details, like how going to becomes gonna, or how did you becomes did ya. These small changes are the secret to understanding fast English. Finally, remember that listening is not about translation. If you try to translate every word into your language, you will always be behind the speaker. Instead, try to understand the main idea. Focus on the story, the context, the emotion. Over time, your brain will naturally catch more details without needing to translate. Comprehension questions for the listeners. What is connected speech, and why is it important to understand? Which words are usually stressed in English sentences, strong words or weak words? What is one practice you can do to train your ears for fast English? Why should you avoid translating every word into your language when listening? Now that you understand connected speech, rhythm, and active listening, let's go deeper into strategies you can use every day to improve your listening and finally understand fast English. One of the most effective methods is listening in layers. Imagine that you are watching the same video 3 times. The first time, you listen without subtitles. Do not worry if you don't understand everything. Just relax and focus on the main idea. The second time, use English subtitles. Now your brain connects the sounds with the written words. The third time, listen again without subtitles and notice how much more you understand. This layered listening is like training your muscles. Each time, your ears grow stronger. Another powerful strategy is shadowing. Shadowing means repeating after the speaker almost immediately, like an echo. For example, if you hear, "What are you doing today?" you repeat quickly after them. This forces your mouth, your ears, and your brain to work together. It also trains you to hear reductions, like, "What you doing today?" Shadowing is difficult at first, but it is one of the best ways to become comfortable with fast speech. Let's also talk about listening to different accents. English is not spoken in only one way. An American may say, "Can I get some water?" while a British person may say, "Can I have some water?" And an Australian may pronounce it differently again. If you only listen to one accent, you may feel lost when you hear another. That's why it is important to expose yourself to many accents through movies, podcasts, or international news channels. The more variety you hear, the more confident you become. Another important point is building your vocabulary. Many learners think they don't understand because English is too fast. But sometimes the real problem is that they don't know enough words. If your vocabulary is small, every fast conversation will sound like noise. So, when you learn new words, don't just write them down. Listen to how native speakers pronounce them in sentences. For example, the word comfortable. In natural speech, it is not pronounced as comfortable. It becomes comfortable. By training with real pronunciation, you will recognize words instantly when people speak fast. Let's not forget the power of consistency. Listening for 5 minutes every day is more effective than listening for 2 hours once a week. Your brain learns through repetition and frequency, so make English listening part of your daily life. Listen to a podcast while you walk, play an English video while you cook, or listen to English songs while you travel. These small habits, done daily, transform your listening skills. Finally, you must practice listening and responding. It is not enough to listen silently. Try to answer questions from the audio, summarize what you heard, or discuss it with a friend. This keeps your brain active and makes listening a two-way process, just like in real conversations. Comprehension questions for the listeners. What are the 3 steps of listening in layers? What does shadowing mean, and why is it useful? Why should you listen to different accents of English? How does vocabulary knowledge affect your ability to understand fast English? Which is more effective for improving listening? A little every day, or a lot only once a week? We have come to the end of today's episode of the Daily English Podcast. Let's quickly reflect on what we learned together. Understanding fast English is not magic, and it is not impossible. It is a process, step by step. We talked about connected speech and how English sounds often change in real conversations. We explored rhythm and intonation, and how music in English helps you catch the meaning. We also looked at strategies like listening in layers, shadowing, and practicing with different accents. Finally, we saw that vocabulary, consistency, and active response are keys to improving your listening. The most important message is this: you do not need to understand every single word to understand English. Focus on the main ideas. Train your ears daily, and little by little, your brain will adapt. Every time you listen, you grow stronger. Every time you practice, you are one step closer to fluency. Now here is my challenge for you. Starting today, practice one of these techniques. Maybe you can shadow a short dialogue, or try listening to a video 3 times with the listening in layers method. Or maybe you want to listen to someone with a new accent. Choose one and share your experience in the comments. If you found this podcast helpful, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with a friend who also wants to improve their English. Your support helps us grow this community of learners. And remember, if you comment below, you will receive the free PDF version of today's podcast with all the strategies explained. Plus, you can join our private learning community where motivated learners like you practice together every day. Thank you for listening. Keep practicing daily, and I will see you in the next episode of Daily English Podcast.